Hi, I'm Carmen.
And I'm Steven.
And this is Vienna Past and Present, where we stroll through the gilded and sometimes not so gilded halls of Vienna's history. So, it's time for another Zeitgeist episode.
Yeah, so maybe you've been living safely under a rock for the past month or two, avoiding the news. I would understand this approach lately, no judgment. But if you haven't, I'm sure you've heard the biggest news out of Austria since the Austrian authorities had to raid the Labubu store, or maybe when that hiker was trampled by a herd of cows a month ago.
I mean, to be fair, the cow thing happens semi-regularly, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Cows are more dangerous than you think, it turns out.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But of course, I'm talking about the 3 Austrian escapee nuns, all in their 80s, who broke out of their retirement home.
Yes, this is big news.
Yeah.
So these 3 nuns, these sisters, they spent decades in their convent near Salzburg, only to be moved to a retirement home in 2023 by church authorities, which they, I guess, tolerated for a while, so about 2 years.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of September, they broke back in, literally, to reclaim their long-beloved home.
Already a feel-good story, I would say. So, like we said, they're now in their 80s, 88, 86, and 82, but they escape like they're in their 60s. Okay, I think you're going to agree after you hear this. They didn't just steal the keys or something. Their escape story is legit impressive. Before we start, let's deep dive into the characters here first. The 3 nuns are Sister Bernadette, Sister Regina, and Sister Rita. Bernadette has been there the longest, more than 7 decades, first as a pupil, then teacher. The middle one, Regina, she was headmistress there. She taught multiple subjects. She kept the school accounts. And the young whippersnapper of the 3, Rita, she tended to the garden. She is described as lively. Again, she's 82 years old. She's the young one.
Yeah. So these sisters are part of the Augustinian order, which is based at Schloss Goldenstein in, I guess, a town called Elsbetin. I don't really know how to pronounce this. It's a very strange town name. Elsbetin,
Okay.
I guess. Whatever. It's just outside of Salzburg. And over many, many decades, they taught, they prayed, they ran the boarding school attached to the convent, they tended the gardens. So they were very active there and lived there for...
Non-stop.
Yeah, like decades.
So back in 2023... there were no younger nuns there anymore, and only those 3 remained there. They were managing a large property that needed a lot of upkeep. So apparently Catholic Church authorities decided that they should move to a retirement home, citing health risks, structural issues with the convent. I looked into the history of the abbey a little bit, and it is very old. Historians disagree about the origins of its name even. It appears in a 15th century record, so its age is only estimated. It's just confirmed to have existed since at least the year 1417. It had been a castle, a resort, then it was a monastery until it came to the current Augustinian ownership in 1897. So it's been in their hands a long time too. So yeah, anyway, all of this saying, lots of upkeep to me. Probably more than 3 80-year-olds could tackle. Carmen, how did the escape actually happen? Now the exciting, action-packed part.
Yes. The grand escape. How did it go?
Yes.
So this all started about a year ago, last October. A group of the nuns' former students met for a class reunion, and that is where this idea seemed to have started initially. They decided collectively, as the students, to break the nuns out because they seemed very unhappy. And so, I mean, I guess they spent almost a year planning if this came up last October because, the action actually happened this year on September 4th.
Right, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
They...
This is not some impulse thing, okay? I'm guessing they prayed about it, okay?
They prayed, they thought, I mean, they planned it all out. Mm-hmm. And so on September 4th of 2025, so just a couple of weeks ago, at 2 p.m., which is, the standard time
not
for
the escape time, I would have guessed. But okay. It's an 80-year-old escape time.
Look, when we're talking about 80-year-old nuns, I think 2 p.m. on, what is this, a Sunday?
You need peak energy if they're going to be doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So... their escape began, 2 p.m. A former student appeared in front of the senior center in a car. She was trailed by a white moving truck and a flock of reporters because the former students had tipped off the press. And they were hoping that press attention would pressure the abbot into accepting them back into the abbey.
Yeah, I was surprised how close this all was, like geographically. News stories say that that small caravan drove about 15 minutes to the old abbey from the retirement home. It was vacant, the power was shut off, so was the water to the showers, stuff like that. The sisters' helpers had arranged for a blacksmith to let them in. Officials at the senior home then reported the nuns missing to police, so 2 officers were sent to the abbey to check. One happened to be a former student of the nuns, so she reportedly hugged the nuns. The nuns then denied breaking in, so the police left. Were you on the edge of your seat for that? Like, that's really an epic escape story, right?
Truly daring.
Yeah, my heart rate went up slightly. Yes.
I really love the detail of, the police came, gave them a hug, and then we're like, oh, you're not breaking in? Okay, bye. You know? I mean, it's heartwarming.
So, yeah.
That's kind of how I would want a police encounter to go, right? You just deny you've done anything, they give you a hug, and they go on their merry way.
Yeah, Elsbeten or whatever. It sounds like a nice place so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, why did they want to return? I mean, we have some obvious guesses here, but...
Right, so they wanted to return because they said that they had never agreed to leave the abbey permanently. They claimed that they were told the convent was theirs for life and that they had a right to stay, and they believed that was legally and spiritually binding, and so they felt...
Spiritually.
Yeah. And so they felt that they were being displaced and not cared for, and, they wanted to go back to a place that they felt they had a right to be at.
Okay. Yeah, and like so far in the story, I kind of think the Catholic Church is at least right to have raised some tconcerns for the nuns. I don't mean to take their side here. I could see news stories too, right? Like you could see in an alternate universe, like a story about 3 old nuns abandoned in a castle falling apart around them and like that kind of being a scandal. Yeah, and... Sorry, I might be doing that thing where, like, I question the heroes and ruin the story, like I keep doing, or I argue we keep doing, like in our Eurovision episodes. So, I don't know.
Look, we're just trying to have a holistic view. But I will say, there is a sort of Grey Gardens element to this that I could envision, right? That,
totally.
On some level, the church probably has a responsibility to not have 80-year-old women taking care of a castle that, like, they can't probably really take care of.
Yeah. Okay, so they get there. Like, what happened since the police left?
So basically what happened was, with this help of their former students, the locksmith who came, and a small support team, they re-entered the castle, Goldenstein. Initially, the convent was completely cut off. There was no water, no electricity. It was basically a shell because it had not been lived in 2 years, I guess, right? Because they left 2 years before this. And I think no one was there in the interim.
I'd imagine, if the building is from, 1417, it probably just doesn't, like, maintain itself.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right? Yeah, and from these news stories, like, they did not just wheel their walkers over there and squat, okay? Volunteers, local tradespeople, all these supporters, they plugged in plumbing, they were, like, rewiring things, they're bringing food, medical care. So they've restored this to livable conditions, or at least part of it. It's not super clear if it's just a portion, but I would imagine it's just a portion of this like huge castle.
Yeah, I mean it's massive, and there are 3 people, so I can't imagine it's more than a small area.
Yeah, but really, like this is more than just an escape. This is kind of like impressive leadership happening here. That's kind of interesting to me, like kind of getting this community together.
Yeah, I love this community aspect of it, that you have a whole group of people coming together to make this happen. Yeah. And their network now is huge. So it's not just these people who have helped them rewire and bring medical supplies, but like they have hit the social media scene, and
that is really cool.
Right? They are like on top of it. And so they have gathered over 50,000 followers on social media, which is like numbers we can only dream of.
That's right. Totally. We should message them and ask for help.
Yes. We need to get them on our side here.
Please pray.
Get some tips from them, yeah. So so we already mentioned former students. They, the ones that were local were already helping, but, even more former students have poured in with help. Even U.S. folk singer Elizabeth Von Trapp, yes, from that Von Trapp family, brought them roses and sent them some words of encouragement. And also me and you, right? We both started following them on Instagram and we started talking about this episode. And let me tell you, I am entertained.
Yeah, it is a cool account. And like, yeah, it's impressive, right? 80-year-old nuns, they probably don't understand very well what social media is. Maybe they do, maybe, but maybe not. Yeah, I saw somewhere that they have their own WhatsApp group too. It sounded like a local support one. So very impressive operation, okay? Like maybe they can't get up the stairs so well, but they can do this stuff and it seems to be working.
They know how to bring the people together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the community is behind them, which is very nice. But the Catholic Church isn't quite as excited. The church, specifically Provost Markus Grassl of Reichersberg Abbey, which I guess is some nearby abbey.
Maybe like a regional thing?
Yeah. In any case, he's the provost, and he says the sisters violated their vow of obedience by reoccupying the convent without permission.
Oh.
And he claims that their advanced age and the building's condition justify the relocation.
Okay.
Which, I mean, yeah. Okay.
It's not the fun story I would want, but I could see that being valid. The sisters claim many personal and financial items were removed from their rooms. They were misled. They were pressured into the move. Their consent was never fully real, like we were saying earlier. What are the actual rules in cases like this?
Well, not that I'm any kind of expert here, but apparently there's like theological and canonical tension here because in theory a religious order has provisions for aging members and dwindling communities. This community became really tiny, and so when those rules collide with human dignity, housing, autonomy, the dispute gets very messy, right? Because they still want to live the way that they want to live and feel that they are able to, but on the other hand, when you only have a couple of old people who can't very well take care of the housing, you know, there is some kind of responsibility there and rules surrounding that.
Right. So what I saw is there are these church rules. When a community has less than 5 members, they'll lose the right to elect their own leader. And generally, the church says any property, like clothes, bank accounts, things like that, that's communal. It's not personal under these different monastic rules. So the sisters argue that, you know, their memories, their autonomy, their right to die in their spiritual home, like that should count for something, which that's powerful. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I can really see both sides of this, to be honest. Like, I get there. And I think, you know, with a whole community around you, it works, right?
Yeah.
But it requires that.
Which is probably not something that the church could count on, you know what I mean? They're probably just doing like the safest whatever option. And...
Yeah.
So, Carmen, what do you think? Like, as an Austrian, are you proud? Are you embarrassed?
Look, I think it's a fun story, and I am loving their social media game. So, more power to them, I say. And, you know, for once, it's a story.
I just like asking you a cheese question like that, okay? Opine on this. Yes.
Let me ponder my feelings about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's always nice to have a story that's kind of lighthearted, you know, compared to everything else that is in the news these days. It's like a fun little story. I think that's one of the reasons it's been picked up, you know, by the BBC, by the New York Times. Across the world, I think it's gotten a lot of traction just because it is kind of a fun, lighthearted story.
Yeah, highly recommend their social media. We both follow them, like we said. You get to see inside the convent, see pics of some of these locals who are helping them. And there's definitely some like deer in headlights kind of shots of these people who are like, huh? Like, wait, why are you taking a picture of me? So that's, it feels authentic.
I know, I love it. And Rita is trying to learn English. There was one post where she says, like, good night and God bless you or something like that in English, and it's very sweet. So, check them out. Yeah. I think it's, what is their Instagram account? It's like Nonnen
Goldenstein?
Nonnen Goldenstein, yeah. So, check them out.
Yeah, so we can link to that. Yeah.
We'll link to them. Yeah, so that's the Zeitgeist these days.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's it for our show. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, share with your friends or leave us a 5-star review. And if you didn't like it, then don't worry about that review.
That's right. You can find us on social media as Vienna Past and Pres on Instagram, or send us your episode ideas at viennapastandpresent@gmail.com.
Auf Wiedersehen, pfiat euch, Baba.
Bye.